Let me recap the current situation regarding the impacts of the quakes and tsunami. As of this evening, the number of deaths confirmed is 9,737, and the number of who are missing is 16,501. Those who are injured is 2,766. And the number of being isolated is now went down to zero. The number of those who are evacuated is 201,171. The number of who have been rescued is 26,646. In terms of the mobilization situation of different government agencies, about a little over 100,000. The figure I have is 106,100 self-defense forces people. Japan Coast Guard about 86 patrol boats, police agency 2,754, Fire and Disaster Management Agency 2,923. So if we add them up, it is about 113,000 people working on in Tohoku tackling the situation. And as far as the assistance extended from overseas in terms of announcement of their intentions of support, over 130 countries have expressed their will to support us, as well as 33 international organizations. And just one more thing about some of the salient points coming from Chief Cabinet Secretary's press conference this afternoon. On the issue of tap water, Mr. Edano, Chief Cabinet Secretary, mentioned that the Japanese government has asked local governments to frequently conduct monitoring of the levels of radioactive substances in tap water. Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare will compile these data and provide the detailed monitoring results to the public. And there was on the issue of the reconstruction, the government is considering the big picture of reconstruction efforts, but now we are focusing on doing everything in its power to support the livelihood of the disaster victims and tackle the incidents at the nuclear power plants in Fukushima at present. And final point is regarding the budget to cope with evolving situations. We'll use effectively the government's reserve fund for quake disaster-related expenses this fiscal year, which ends the end of March. In the next fiscal year, we intend to draft a supplementary budget for disaster relief efforts while carefully considering the importance of fiscal discipline. So that's all from me, and I will ask Mr. Nishiyama to have an opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Shikata. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As usual, I'd like to update the recent status of the plants, 6 plants within Fukushima number 1 site. First, Unit 1. Regarding this Unit 1, we began introduction of seawater to the reactor through the reactor feed water system to increase the amount of water. Although we saw some unstable situation yesterday, today, after we adjusted the amount of water to be introduced, the pressure and the temperature of reactor of Unit 1 became stable. With respect to spent fuel pool, we will introduce water through the fuel pool cooling and filtering system. Regarding restoration of power line, lights were turned on for the first time since the earthquake in the central controlling unit of this Unit 1. Next, Unit 2. Regarding this Unit 2, parameters of reactors are relatively stable. We are introducing seawater to the reactor through the fire protection system. As for spent fuel pools, we pumped seawater once on March 20th and once on March 22nd. Restoration of power line. Regarding restoration of power line, we are mending and replacing cables for measuring equipments and the lights of central controlling unit. Next, Unit 3. Although we saw black smoke from Unit 3 yesterday, we no longer see black smoke today, and the parameters of fuel core became stable. As for spent fuel pool, we began introducing seawater starting 5:35 a.m. today through the fuel pool cooling and filtering system. With respect to power restoration, we will confirm integrity of such systems as instrument air system. Next, Unit 4. In this unit, focus is on spent fuel pool. According to our observation, there is enough water to cover spent fuel in the pool of this Unit 4. According to the Self-Defense Force of Japan, temperature of the spent fuel pool of Unit 4 is not so high. We are introducing seawater to the spent fuel pool of Unit 4 using concrete injecting cars. Later, we will introduce seawater to the spent fuel pool of Unit 4 through the same system as Unit 1 and 3, which is the fuel pool cooling and filtering system. Regarding Units 5 and 6, only Unit 5 has some changes. That is, we are aiming at recovering residual heat removal system with electricity from outside grid very soon. That's all for my report today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nishiyama. Then I'd like to ask Mr. Kawarada of MEXT to have an opening remark.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Shinichi Kawarada of MEXT. 日本語でさせていただきます。これまで
I would like to update you on the monitoring data that we have published, and I think we have distributed the information. What I wish to convey to you this evening is that yesterday we have announced that we will conduct the offshore monitoring. So we now have the findings. The results were made known by noon today, and that is also published. The seawater radiation level is subject to the impact of the nuclear disaster. So we have detected relatively high levels of contamination of radiation. From the 30 kilometers from the nuclear plant, which is point 8, at 8 points we have collected data and conducted analysis is south to north. It's iodine 131 and cesium 137. We have detected those elements which proved to be relatively high. For the iodine 131, I think the nuclear disaster has impacted the readings, and we have identified relatively higher readings. Also, the air contamination and also the radiation level of the dust have found to be relatively low. Thank you.
And, Mr. Kawarada, now I'd like to ask Ms. Iseki of MHLW.
Good evening. I'm going to just briefly give you the test result reported as of yesterday, 23rd March, which indicating in total 74 food samples have been tested, and among them one sample, Mizuno sample from Ibaraki Prefecture, exceed the action level. And 5 fresh raw milk samples tested in Fukushima Prefecture are also beyond the action level. That is the report from yesterday. And with regard to the notice to extend the monitoring test in the neighboring prefectures, the respective press release is available in paper, just on the table beside the door on the left. Thank you.
Then I'd like to ask Mr. Matsunaga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shikata. I'd like to briefly explain the international assistance generously extended to Japan in response to the earthquake and tsunami. This is an update of my previous explanation. The latest number of the countries and regions extended generous assistance is now 132. And also 33 international organizations have extended assistance. Perhaps you have already have a paper circulated to explain the details as to the rescue teams. Many of them have already completed their activities and left Japan. And those teams, rescue teams, are denoted with star marks. So you can see that those remaining rescue teams who are still in activity in Japan. In addition, we have also distributed assistance in kind from international community, which explains the countries and regions, as well as the details of their assistance received by Japan. And to save time, I would refrain from going into the details of this chart. And you also see the map which would show the places of the rescue team's activity. as I mentioned, a number of rescue teams have already left, completing their activities. And for the area of their activities of rescue teams which have already left the country, please refer to the first material I have mentioned at the beginning of my explanation. Next, I would like to update today's development. Today, we have received relief supply from European community. The supply consists of many number of blanket, mattress, and sleeping bags. In total, the relief supply is 70 tons, and those supplies are heading to Ibaraki Prefecture. And we also received today generous relief supply from Venezuela. They have provided blankets, mineral water, canned sardines, and tuna, etc. And we also received today donation from Latvia. Please refer to our press release for more details. And lastly, I would like to explain about the assistance extended by U.S. forces in Japan, very briefly. For details, please refer to our website. The relevant information will be made available in our website as a matter of day or two. So here, I only touch upon the gist of our explanation we would give in our website. The U.S. forces in Japan have mobilized as many as 20,000 personnel, as well as 20 U.S. ships, and also 160 airplanes. They have rescued 10 persons, and they have provided 100,000 liters of water, 80 tons of food, 40 tons of clothes and blankets, and they have transported 230 tons of goods, including the material I have mentioned. More specifically, with respect to the assistance related to the earthquake, for example, the U.S. Navy in Japan, Japan-U.S. joint airlift operation of 30,000 portions of U.S. survival food was undertaken. The food was airlifted by U.S. helicopters from USS Ronald Reagan and other U.S. ships to Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force ships. And then the food was airlifted by Self-Defense Force to Miyagi Prefecture. After the joint airlift operation, the U.S. ships have been carrying out search and rescue operations off the coast of Iwate Prefecture, and airlift of water, clothes, medicine, baby's nappy, heating oil, etc. was undertaken. With respect to U.S. Marines, an amphibious assault ship, USS Essex, boarding 31 Marine Expeditionary Unit, and dock landing ships, more specifically U.S. ship Germantown and USS Harper's Ferry, moved from Japan Sea to Yato City of Aomori Prefecture on March 21st, and started together with a dock landing ship USS Tortuga airlift of goods of assistance using their ship-based aircrafts to Miyako City of Iwate Prefecture. And the 31 Marine Expeditionary Unit will further undertake humanitarian assistance activities in Ofunatu City, Kamaishi City, and their vicinities in Iwate Prefecture. And furthermore, U.S. tanker plane KC-130 has established fuel supply center in Yamagata Airport. And CH-46 helicopters stationed in Yamagata Airport are undertaking airlift of personnel and goods in Sendai and other places. With respect to U.S. Air Force in Japan, C-130 transport plane arrived at Yamagata Airport on March 15th with good medicine and gasoline fuel trucks. The fuel truck will fuel automobiles undertaking rescue activities. The C-130 transport plane airlifted medical supplies prepared by Japan Medical Association from Yokota Air Station to Sendai Airport, etc. Also, on March 20th, medicines such as 100,000 doses of Tamiflu, etc., were airlifted from Yokota Air Base to Kesennuma City of Miyagi Prefecture, and the medicine were provided already. Aerial pictures taken by manned reconnaissance plane, Global Hawk, etc., are shared with the Japanese side. Lastly, I touch upon the activities of U.S. Army in Japan. They have extended cooperation for the repair of airstrips in Sendai Airport. And it appears that the Army is deployed in Yamagata Airport and undertaking transportation of humanitarian assistance goods, etc. U.S. forces in Japan has established the Japan-U.S. Joint Coordination Center in Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force Sendai Garrison. That's all from my explanation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matsunaga, Assistant Press Secretary of Foreign Ministry. Is our eminent colleague having any initial remarks? If not, I'd like to open the floor to questions. When you ask question, please identify yourself and limit it to one question. Go ahead. No questions? Yamaguchi-san. Please go close to the microphone.
I am Yamaguchi from AP. I have a question to Mr. Nishiyama. You have mentioned that the water in the spent fuel pool in reactor number 4 is pretty full. Roughly speaking, up to what level is the water in the spent fuel pool in reactor number 4? Is the water more or less covering the spent fuel? And also, can we also know the temperature of the water in the number 4 reactor spent fuel pool?
まずこの4号機については水があるとかないとか議論がありましたけれども、こちらの、自衛隊のヘリコプターから、見たときにビデオで撮ったものと、それから、そこに乗っていた人が目で見たものとで、使用済み燃料が隠れるくらいに、十分水があるということを確認しています。
Regarding the spent fuel pool in reactor number 4, there was some discussion regarding whether there was water inside or not. but from the helicopter of the self-defense forces, we have been able to confirm that there is plenty of water that is actually covering the spent fuel in the pool, as we can see from a video that was taken from the self-defense force helicopter, and also as has been confirmed by the eye of the crew that was flying on that helicopter.
それから、使用済み燃料プールの、水の温度ですけれども、これについては自衛隊の遠くから測るやり方でもって、50度よりも50度を下回る値になって摂氏50度を下回る値になっておりました。
And regarding the temperature of the water in the spent fuel pool, we have the temperature of the water has been measured from afar by the self-defense forces, and we have been able to know that the temperature of the water in the number 4 spent fuel pool was less than 50 degrees centigrade.
それでただ、非常にここには使用済み燃料が多く入っているので、我々としてはこの水の量とそれから温度の健全な温度と保つために、今日もコンクリート注入機からの、放水をいたしました。
Since, however, there is a lot of spent fuel inside the number 4 spent fuel pool, in order to maintain the level of water as well as a healthy level of temperature in that spent fuel pool, today also we have continued to spray water into the pool from a concrete pump vehicle, concrete pump truck.
ブルームバーグの坂巻と申します。西山さんへの質問なんですけれども、福島第一原発の、6つの原子炉の中で、多分5号と6号は大体安定の状態だと思うんですが、その1号機から4号機の中で、原子炉、そして核燃料の貯蔵プール、両方なんですけども、どこが一番危険な状態で、どういったものを今注視して努力しているかをご説明してください。
坂巻と申しますけど、西山さんに質問です。福島第一原発の6つの原子炉。ごめんなさい。坂巻, I have a question to Mr. Nishiyama. I have a question to Mr. Nishiyama. Of the 6 reactors of Fukushima number 1 nuclear power plant, probably I think it is fair to say that reactors number 5 and 6 have reached a more or less stable state. So of the remaining 4, that is reactor number 1 through 4, which would you say is the most dangerous of the reactors as well as the spent fuel pool in reactors number 1 through 4? And what are you focusing on in your activities at the current moment? Can you give us an explanation that would be very understandable to us?
1号機から4号機まではそれぞれに、問題を抱えていて、我々は今なるべくその問題が安定に向かうようにそれぞれについて努力しているところです。例えばポイントを申し上げれば、1号機については、原子炉の温度と圧力をいかにうまくコントロールするかということが重要です。
For reactors number 1 through 4, each of the reactors are facing the various issues, various difficulties that they're now facing. And we are taking activities that will enable us to bring each of those difficulties to a stable state. And if I may just recapitulate the main points, for reactor number 1, I believe what is most important is how we can control the temperature as well as the pressure of the reactor.
2号機について言えば、一つは2号機は外側から水を入れることができないので、使用済み燃料のプールにいかに中のラインを使って水を送るかということが重要です。
And for reactor number 2, first of all, since we are not able to inject water from the outside for reactor number 2, what is most important is how we can use the various supply lines that we have within the reactor building to inject water or inject water into the spent fuel pool.
それから、3号機については、今塩水を、海水を、真水に変えた形で原子炉にいかに注入するかということに、精力を注いでいます。
And for reactor number 3, our main focus now, and what we are working the hardest on, is how we can replace the seawater with fresh water for the water that is being injected into the reactor.
4号機については先ほど前の質問でお答えで申し上げた使用済み燃料プールへの水を満たすことが重要です。水を満たし続けることが重要です。
And for reactor number 4, as I have already responded in my answer to the previous question, what is most important for reactor number 4 is to continue to maintain the very high level of water that we now have in the spent fuel pool.
一つはこの福島という場所の位置関係について申し上げたいことがありますけれども、福島とそれから首都の東京との位置関係であります。福島と首都の東京は、230キロ離れておりまして、よく東京電力という名前の会社がこの福島で原子力発電所を運営しているので、東京と福島とが非常に近い場所というふうに思っておられる方もいるかもしれませんけれども、230キロも離れておりますので、東京へのこの原子力発電所の影響というのは非常に限られたものになっています。
I just have one explanation that I would like to give regarding the location of Fukushima Prefecture and the Fukushima nuclear power generation plant. Fukushima Prefecture and the capital of Japan, Tokyo, where we are now, are 230 kilometers apart. Since the name Tokyo Electric Power Company is often mentioned, Tokyo Electric Power Company is the power generation company that is operating the Fukushima nuclear power station. Since the name Tokyo Electric Power Company is often mentioned, there may be people who feel that Fukushima is close to Tokyo, but actually Fukushima is located at a location which is 230 kilometers from Tokyo. And so the effect on Tokyo from anything that happens at the Fukushima nuclear power generation plant is very limited.
したがって東京の首都としての機能が妨げられることはなく、今の原子力発電所の事故に対する対応も東京のヘッドクォーターからきちんとした形で政府にしても東京電力にしても指令を出してやっております。
And accordingly, the functions of Tokyo as the capital of our country is not undermined in any way. And in dealing with the incident that occurred at the nuclear power generation plant at Fukushima, all of the instructions and orders are being given from the headquarters in Tokyo. And so the government, as well as the Tokyo Electric Power Company, is giving instructions from their headquarters here in Tokyo.
Are there any questions? Okay.
先ほどのレピの山口です。もう一つに西山さんにお聞きしたいんですが、こちらにで排水問題の結果によりますと、かなりの数の放射性物質が検出されている、例えばシリコンとかテレビウム、コバルトというようなものが最近は出ているようですけれども、これらがどこからどういうふうに来たかという可能性についてちょっと考えられるか教えてください。
I am Yamaguchi from AP. I wish to ask another question to Mr. Nishiyama. According to the results of the seawater monitoring, it seems that a considerable number of radioactive materials are being detected recently. For instance, zirconium, thorium, and cobalt seem to be detected recently from the seawater monitoring. What would you say are the possibilities of from where and how these radioactive materials are being detected, and how and from where do you think they are coming, and how do you think they are coming?
これは検出されているものは海から検出されているものと、それから土壌から検出されているものと、ほとんど似ておりますので、発電所に由来するものだろうと思いますけれども、それがどういうルートで海に至っているかということについてははっきりいたしません。
The materials that have been detected are mostly similar from the radioactive materials that have been detected from the sea, as well as those that have been detected from the soil, are very similar. And so we would assume that they come from the nuclear power generation plant, but we have not been able to identify for sure what channel or how they have reached the sea or the soil.
すいません、ブルームバーグの坂巻です。石山さんなんですが、それと関連してくるんですけども、そういったその検出物等からですね、あとは今モニターしているいろいろな数値から、原子炉の中の福島第一の原子炉の中のその燃料棒の損傷の場合はどのように評価しているのでしょうか。
I am Sakamaki from Bloomberg. I also have a related question to Mr. Nishiyama. From the materials that have been detected and based on the numbers that you received from, that you obtained from the monitoring, what is your assessment of the damage to the fuel rod in the reactor of the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear generation plant?
燃料棒がある程度損傷していることは間違いないと考えていますけれども、今それ以上に定量的にこの、調べることができるデータがはっきりしないので、もう少しそういうデータが集まった段階ではっきり評価したいと思っています。
There is no doubt that the fuel rod has been damaged to a certain extent, but we do not know for sure the data that can be a basis for quantifying anything beyond the fact that there is probably a certain amount of damage. And we would like to evaluate that factor once we are able to collect the data.
My name is Daniel Nursing. I'm writing for Asia Times Online. My question is also about the Fukushima Daiichi reactor. It seems that the pumping in seawater leaves behind residue in the spent fuel ponds. I heard about salt. How much of the residue, what kind of residue will be left behind, and how much does your measurement show that has been left behind, possibly maybe damaging fuel ponds?
アジアタイムズ、オンライン、ですけれども、福島第一原発の原子炉に関して、伺いたいんですけれども、海水を注入することによって、その使用済み燃料のポンプに何か残留物が残る。例えば私が聞いたところでは塩分とか塩が残留物として残るというふうに聞いたんですけれども、どういう残留物、どういう種類の残留物が海水を注入することによって残るのでしょうか。そして、今測定している数字から示されている残留物がどの程度あって、その残留物によって燃料棒の破損がもたらされる可能性というのはあるんでしょうか。
確かに、塩分を含んだその海水を入れてるわけですから、これは長期的には、その塩分やあるいは不純物による、影響が出てくると思います。ただ現在のこの緊急に冷やすオペレーションにおいてはそれほど大きな影響はないのではないかと思っております。
It is true that since we are injecting seawater, which includes salt, in the long term, there may probably appear some effects from the salt or any other contaminants. But I don't believe there is any major effect on the emergency cooling operation that we are now undertaking.
特に塩分と今中に入っているものが反応して何かが起こるというようなことは想定しておりません。そういう状況です。
And in particular, we are not assuming that there will be any reaction occurring between the salt and anything that is within the reactor.
Any other questions? If not, we'd like to conclude today's briefing. Thank you very much.